Watch the route. It's going to be a little slant and go, and it freezes Wiggins and gets separation, and Willis finds him with the football.
In the corner, you're going to see it right here. In a tight position, comes with that quick nod on an out up and then turns it up the field. And Tyler Shough, one of the best things he does.
What a great throw. The anticipation by Jacoby Brissett with the location of that throw. Watch as he breaks across to the middle of the field. Look at Will Johnson playing underneath coverage. Again, the confidence.
You may want to bracket 14 on third down because he is as good as there is in the NFL.
Lassiter back, see him in tight man-to-man coverage. Great compliment to Stingley on the other side, trying to get the go route. Just no room, right?
Once again, Shough is on the money, and I think that's been the challenge for Denard Wilson, the Titans defensive coordinator.
Malik Willis, one-on-one going against Wiggins. He gets separation. I think they fooled Baltimore with the formation.
Yeah, just wins at the line of scrimmage. Watch the release, physical release offside. It was a nice job. I like the changeup by Jalen Davis coming up with that little bump.
Look at this route. He's going to go out, in, back out, and just completely flip around. Luter on the outside to the post, reverses back out. Luter goes down.
Just a great job by Mitchell. Defensive backs coaches call this hands to hands.
So his Cousins took a deep shot on 3rd and 7.
Yeah, the Rams do a good job. He's working the intermediate part of the field. It just was not there, and that's where the coverage dictated that he go.
Rusher. There's a free rusher coming from the right. He has to get rid of the ball right now. Zay Flowers extends the ball.
Again, have really meant so much to this defense, but when you can come up, play one-on-one, get your head back around, don't foul.
And Christian Watson is over 100 yards. It's been a long time coming for the Packers receiver.
Well, he turned Wiggins.
A really nice job here. Watch, he's going to get to the outside, but he's going to be able to get underneath Dax Hill right there. Really great job on that.
And a big-time play call right here. Everybody selling out for the run, just a play action to your big receiver, put it on.
His ability to move on the run, and you see Terry McLaurin off coverage again. Just goes and runs that stop route. Very good throw and catch.
Over the last 4 games, watching Puka Nacua, it's a season-long highlight reel for most wide receivers. This guy is as physical at the point.
Yeah, look, if you're going to get soft coverage, Jared Goff.
By showing up the linebacker core so we can stop the run.
Of course.
Get more pressure on the quarterback. So the secondary can become.
Who I think's had a heck of a night as a defense. With Trent McDuffie down, he's had to step up, and he's in a great position. Not only is great position
defensively.
Yeah, watch Terry McLaurin here just running the comeback, and this is a beautiful route. Stops on the inside, but he just saves space to the side.
Over the top to another Iowa State guy for another touchdown. Third down situations, finding space, motion him down, little combo coverage from the inside out. Just a little break to the outside, pass the sticks. He's trying to throw back shoulder fade. Stingley so good.
His progression, and we're going to see right here on the backside, George Pickens working through that route, creating separation.
Andrews has had a slow couple weeks. He's off to a fast start tonight.
About Jim Ray DK's return ability, but he keeps improving as a receiver, and they're running him out of the slot a lot.
There's Mike Evans, and then what he's going to do is move inside just to break back outside. Goes in, goes out, and busted coverage again. So, yeah, and that is a very nice job by Baker Mayfield. What you're watching is him having a pump fake, and you see Rasul Douglas, he's staying low. They keep staying.
And he's thinking he's going to stutter and then go upfield, and Austin cuts it short.
Linebacker plays, you're going to see they bring Washington across. You see the communication here in the slot. Pratt knows he's the flat defender, but this is called 2 through a zone. So when that flat receiver turns up the sideline.
We mentioned the heavy personnel groups, but if you watch Diggs here, what do the heavy personnel groups do? It gives you a lot of man-to-man coverage and 5-man rush. That's what they got here. We call this a jerk route. So basically you have a 3-way go. Stephon Diggs sets him up. Goff hits that 5th step. Watch him drive right there. He knows Amon-Ra's job.
Because they didn't force him into any time and taking an extra time out. By throwing the football and it goes incomplete, Tennessee able to keep.
Junior, stride for stride, out of the break, beats him back. I mean, that touchdown catch that he made last week was unbelievable. And it's very similar to this, double coverage right there. When he gets it
over Stewart, a couple times now we've called his name, but here's why they traded multiple first-round picks before the trade deadline for Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, do you think they knew? He's that close. Just a little hitch route right there and getting that completed.
Send on J.C. Horn. They start on the left side of the field, come all the way across the formation, and JSN just has the leverage.
Pierce has really established himself as one of the top downfield receiving targets in the league, and just a fast guy.
Jags trying to get a 7th consecutive win, trying to hang on to the top spot in the AFC.
How many guys Joe Burrow's been able to get the football to? They know the guys that can hurt him. And again, there's deep
to JSN, and he's able to just run straight to the sticks, chop his feet, and catch the ball for a first down.
Yeah, he's coming down to get Dax Hill. So now you're trying to get Trey McBride back in the game, but there was an opportunity middle of the field.
Last week, had some huge third down conversions and big plays, and right here, it's all Campbell again. Look at the hand, right there. That's not on Thielen, that's just Campbell with great technique and coverage.
Well, watch it here with Jacoby Brissett here. This is good coverage by Dax Hill right there, playing a little bit underneath.
You can see here Pierce coming across. He's really turned into, he's always been known as the deep threat, over 20 yards a catch. Last year led the league.
That's the kind of play calling we're talking about. Right there, Ben Johnson anticipating what he was going to get and took advantage.
Well, they decide to bring blitz. They rush 5, a linebacker blitz. That brings them in man-to-man coverage as they go down the line.
Demarcus Robinson is the guy who really has been coming on with some of these injuries and replacements they've had to go through. But Demarcus Robinson has been to the playoffs 9. Isn't it great when you see a young guy who gets a chance? He caught the first pass of the game a week ago, and he caught the game-tying pass in the end zone. It was tremendous on all ends. The quarterback understood. It was just a zone blitz. He was going to have time. Pearsall down the field making that play. Cisco 49ers, because they will do that and stop and come back out. When you turn up the field to that corner route, it puts pressure back on blitz a lot. They sent a little pressure on this one, but it was on that drive. Jair Brown was down in the box playing the run on the first 2, man coverage on third.
Yeah, Zach Robinson said if they're going to win this game, Darnell Mooney has to be a factor, and this is an excellent route. He recognizes that it's zone, and he just first down. There he is at the bottom of the screen, and it's an excellent route. He holds the line until right when he's making the cut, and he's got
He really did. In the middle of the field is where the San Francisco 49ers are going to work, and obviously they'd love to have Jordan.
Where it's got to be in this zone defense in traffic, that first window that opens up. It's an inside post here from Brandon Cooks, and nowhere for the safeties. They're just got occupied by these underneath players.
Las Vegas. He's just going to run the slant route, but watch the 2 corners out here. They run into each other. Makes it an easy pitch and catch. Maybe the numbers. Watch how he's going to expand and work up. When you get middle of the field close, you keep your eyes to the middle to hold that safe.
Jalen Johnson on the outside is going to jump this, coming off of groin surgery. They said that he is finally back where he's ready to play every snap, and he was certainly ready.
They're playing center field to intercept it. That's his 27th career interception. He is a ball-hawking safety in his 13th. Plays it like a defensive back. I mean, he was up at the line of scrimmage, and as he's getting underneath that route, he's got eyes on Stafford the entire way. Otherwise, if
there it is, Mike, you're going to see these linebackers react down to Tonjes. Here's the dig I was talking about. They react up to that underneath route. It was a Tampa 2. The linebacker that time, Edwards, reacted up, left the hole that he was.
Like he is here in the slot, and he just takes off. But the protection, they're able to pick up the look that they get. And Ferguson, he just runs right by the other rookie, Xavier Watts. Makes a big play.
3 or 4 yards and just tugged it left. Oh, he's got to put it on his body. Oh, my God, Cookie going up top shelf. The slight bubble, pressing it against his face mask on Epps. A ridiculous, and they get it into a blitz. All 5 guys coming. I mean, what a play call and execution. Keir's getting this pass, but when you motion in, softens the coverage up. That's just called an outcut.
Very calmly, after he knew he had it, watch him just drift over here, buy a little time. He knew he was going to throw it deep. Why not? You have nothing to lose at that point. and just roped it.
And Benford in coverage goes up there right between Smith's hands. Again, he's got those plastic gloves on.
A rookie third-round pick from Notre Dame. That's his fourth. And how about Caden Ellis?
Caden Ellis was running from the line underneath Smith.
Some type of miscommunication with DeJean and
in this game, and they're not doing anything exotic. This is one-on-one coverage with Terrell on the outside. Safety was in the middle, and seen a lot of it. They just have not been able to get him loose the way that he has been really throughout the
moment. And you wonder, you've got to make decisions as a head coach. Do I think McCaffrey has enough in him right now, or is he feeling the pain? Do you have to go to
the guy you usually go after, Quinyon Mitchell, but Shavers goes up top shelf and it just lands back in his chest. He's got those leather gloves on.
And you'll see him almost get face masked here as he was coming across the field right there and just ran right through it. He was a little bit.
And then Tutu Atwell, those are the two guys that can really run. And he had an opportunity. You see right here at the very end, just trying to, he's got Stafford off of play action work this way. Ferguson's working up, but then he's going to go back to the corner. So it ties in as though he's going to continue on that deep crosser, and that's what the defense is expecting instead.
Leaves man coverage underneath. Olszewski's to the outside. Watch how he's going to release to the inside. There's nobody there because of the crossing route in man coverage. He's just left alone.
Move at the end on a gain of 13.
Watch the block. He chips. He slow releases. That allows the middle to open up. And then it's the extra effort on his part that picks up the first down. Well, there's two guys in the same area. Thornton is running an inside route. Now watch Tucker. He's coming from the left. And Tucker stops.
Is first and goal to go. Timeout Giants. Nice play by Wendell Robinson. 90 yards.
Tracks the ball so well. This ball's supposed to be over that inside shoulder, but he throws over
his body, and good defensive play.
That was a terrific defensive play.
It's 10th or 11th. It feels like his 75th this year. The little bluff block and then to the corner, wide open.
Good accurate throw, good time in the pocket for him to be able to get this out. Anytime you're pushing the ball up the field, you have to have time. You see the zone coverage.
Whenever you run these bootlegs, everyone thinks the ball's coming this way. When A.J. Hinson goes back across the field, it kind of leaves that safety in no man's land. It's really good play design. You're trying to take those shots down the field.
Watch Watts on this play. He never back up. He just stays put right there, and he's reading Stafford the entire way, waiting for him to turn it loose. Anybody comes in his area, Ferguson does.
He's been doing it in the NFL, and I feel like people have missed it. I really do. And I started digging into some of the numbers and the statistics, and they say that he is in the top 5 of all receivers in production when he's on.
It's the one that moves over. He's on the outside. They move him over before the snap. So you think because none of the defense moves that it's going to be.
Fourth down, they're going to bring out the punting unit.
Watch as he slow releases. He gets a chip on the outside. He lands on top of the.
Let's take a look. They have not ruled whether it's a catch or not.
I mean, how do you even give that?
The field's an incomplete pass. Brings up fourth down from the previous spot.
Well, I mean, what am I seeing that they don't? Because that looks like a catch.
I think this is a better look at it.
That's incredible. That's a one-handed, left-handed
catch. That's a catch. Both feet were in bounds. That's a catch.
He definitely gets both feet down as long as he maintains control of that ball through contact with the ground. That's a catch.
And A.J. Terrell, I mean, he had his hand in there. I'm not sure how Puka's even making this play, but that's a catch. That's amazing.
That's going to give the Rams a chance.
Myers getting jammed at the line of scrimmage, but his sure-handedness, his reliability, Myers just can't quite get enough on it. Nice job there by Murray, and Phillips just trying to.
Here's the fade route. It's there all day. Ward wins the matchup. Without DK Metcalf, they could not.
Yeah, there's Will Johnson right there, one of those young quarterbacks. It's really well done. You know, you trust your eyes, you trust what you see.
Might have checked into that. He at least moved the protection. Jones just standing flat-footed, not worried about downs.
Ward's been incredible. He's supposed to break in. MVS, keep going. And he decides to just do his own thing.
Every team in the league runs this. It's dagger. You get an inside clear out and then a big in-breaking dig route, and just a great. Seems like when they've been able to keep Trevor Lawrence in the pocket and not get the ball out of his hand to his first read, he doesn't see a whole lot through his progression. He's seeing a lot of tight coverage. He's seeing a lot of contested throws. Tries to get late downfield, and
2 times in a row, not on the same page. He runs the outside.
Now Pittsburgh finds itself.
A post by Cooper Kupp, just not able to bring it in. A lot of contact at the top there.
But look at this play. Down the middle of the field. How precise was that pass?
Off his back foot.
Sanders, he said he looks like an old-fashioned running back. Picks up 10. Yep.
I mean, you can see he's hard to bring down. He's got a little bit of wiggle to him, but he's that physical back. You'll see him, and MVS needs to get his eyes back sooner right here. Get back. Ball's already in the air. By the time you pick up where he threw it, it's too late.
Safety's body. Love is covering the flat initially and then drops back and steps directly into the path of this ball. Just a fantastic
vertical balls. You see, this is what they call a cut split. See how he's lined up inside the numbers. Traditionally, the single receiver would be kind of outside, closer to the...
Spun around right here. Darren Hall, watch. He's going to be lined up out there going out. And now, I'm supposed to be running with T. Higgins. So now you're in a trail. You got Denzel Burke trying to convert to get...
Going to go against Indy, but you talk about stepping up and just ripping a ball through coverage. You can't throw the ball downfield any better than that. They'll sort out this penalty. Going to decline it.
Fire for the pass. Holding. Defense.
It's Mike Jackson. They're playing some more man coverage here. A little slip at the top of the route. Mike Jackson comes up off the break.
Well, goes without saying, they've missed him. You know, and you can really see Chris Ballard, the general manager.
This is just one of those routes. It's just timed up so well, and you've repped it so many different times. You know, the ball coming off the hand.
Mallory initially lost it. Then he's going to the ground just to have the awareness to stick out that right hand, and falls right in his lap.
And so first down at the 49.
He feels the corner. So from these cut splits to the short side of the field, quarterback has to have his antenna up. That's a prime opportunity for that corner cat. A tight window throw. Parker Washington understands there's a hit coming. Accurate. Take a look here, but see if Myers was able to get that second foot down. It was certainly close.
Shane Steichen watching closely on the video.
When he watches this on film, watch 14 come out of this group right here on the out route. Number one, how is he so open? We got 2 guys running downfield, so a broken coverage. And then this is not.
This is going to be a touchdown, and this is as good a start. You see the ball, it's coming off his hand just a little bit, but it actually helps because he gets fooled. Shedeur, they roll the coverage to cover 2, but what a job by Fannin to turn and Willie Mays that a little bit. Safety position and really forcing the throw.
He had a free hitter, so he got the ball out of his hands quick. It was just a slip here at the top of his route by
work one-on-one there on the outside to Pittman. And, you know, I think there's so many cool things to talk about with Phillip.
Yeah, working on the outside. There's T. Higgins split out wide. And you just get the little double move right there. And your eyes, you saw the eyes of Denzel Burke come off where T. Higgins was going and on to Joe Burrow.
But Alontae Taylor down in this part of the field as a DB, you always talk about it. The quarterback's going to have more time.
After a 59-yard catch and run.
As well as the defense has played all day today, they had a busted assignment. Allows Chris Godwin.
Quarterback, he looked left first for Olave. He wanted his third down target. The guy that gives him big plays. Doesn't have it, comes back to the middle.
Kyer Elam, he was on the Cowboys earlier in this season, so he joined this team late. He would be the guy that I would be trying to attack.
Keeping the outside receiver in and not going downfield. And just let Austin work against Keemon Hall, the nickel back.
Ball game today.
Andrew, when you fall asleep on the plane and someone jostles you away.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 10. So Christian Gonzalez is just playing for the deep.
High for one game and a gain of 28.
Right, and what they're going to do is basically run pick routes, and it's a nice job. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, they don't stop usually.
To the right spot. And that's exactly what happens here. And Johnson makes the turn back, little baseball turn, and the ball's right there. I think Kendall Brooks, number 30, saw it the whole way.
Playing man-to-man behind it, and Isle Manor gets open late on this one as Riley is sitting on the route, but Ken Ward was already forced out of.
And you're just going to watch. There's Izzian tracking, eyes are right the whole time. Has man coverage on Darren Waller, nice tackle. There's Jalen McMillan, the bottom of the screen, going against Jack Jones. Jack Jones thought that, hey, everything's fine, right? The pump fake, Baker Mayfield was looking.
His feet, because look where the coverage is. He's right there on the play. If he keeps his feet, it would have been interesting to see if Olave.
Early on had some struggles, but over the last 5 or 6 weeks has made play after play for them on the outside.
You not entertained, said Mason Kinsey.
Oh.
You know what I love most about this play? Two things. One, Ward getting out of the pocket and look at him, catches it perfectly, ends up with the
right here in the slot, and you're going to see how he cuts this route really tight. Beats the safety, and you notice that he did not let
season. He's been so sure-handed this year. That's a rare miscue.
It looked like he felt the safety bearing down, and Diggs, certainly one of his favorite targets, especially in the middle of the field, and a guy who has such good feel in zone. A lot of times in zone, you're not necessarily just screaming through their full speed.
And that's what running the football does. The last 2 first downs, they've handed the ball off to Audric Estimate. This time, Tyler Shuck under center, goes play action, fakes the ball. Andrew, you said it, miscommunication. You bring motion across, and now you have all 3 corners right there. And
the ruling on the field is the runner was short or line to gain. New England has challenged that ruling. Timeout.
So that yellow line is unofficial, but it also depends on where the ball is when Williams steps out. So we'll take a look.
Mayfield, they've done this so many times, right? And you're just going to watch this 7 route going. Nice little high-low. They're working that corner.
Been doing it running the football. Green Bay, their most success so far has been throwing it. Nice job by Dobbs just sitting down in a hole, finding
Quinn Ewers. Back him up a little bit and give him a little time to throw this. And Jamel Dean, he got caught trying to jump the out route and let the Weeds get behind him.
Now you love tight ends in the red zone, especially this big target in Hunter Henry. Just watch how he goes up in the air and holds on to this.
It's outside. It's not a disciplined rush by the Ravens, and he's able to extend the play and find a dynamic guy with the ball in his hands. He can make people miss. Now, sometimes, like last week, he tries to make too many people miss. Here he is right here. These safeties are going to split. That means the middle of the field is open, but watch Hamilton. He kind of slows down, and Willis throws it right past his ear.
You know, it's obviously been a tough year. Not a lot of opportunities or as many as he's used to. But he has remained the consummate teammate, an incredible leader.
There was room. There was space in front. You see, maybe slightly behind as CD's.
Towards the end of the game, this time he actually squeezes.
Yeah, just tipped off his hands last week. Here, boy, this is why you love big targets in the red zone. That is a heck of a catch in a critical situation. All those windows are going to be.
A receiver run the route far enough to the stick, so if he gets hit, he runs that to the 5. Look at the ball brings him all the way back.
Yep.
All the way back to the 10. Fulton, who made a play earlier on the tip, his right hand is in there. You see the Cook coming in on the front.
By about 3 or 4 yards. Check him out. This is a skinny post. We're talking 2 to 3 yards, and in the NFL, that's wide open, so he has to wait for the ball.
In a position to be number 1 in the AFC.
Yeah, they had Travis Kelce bracketed, which created some one-on-one opportunities. And there's McMillan against Hollywood Brown, and the ball, once he throws it to him, it's late over the middle. Tough to be. I mean, this is a rookie up against a 36-year-old vet who's got a Hall of Famer. Soft little touch on the chest, didn't push off.
It's a 5-yard pickup for Dallas.
Yeah, you see that ball get away from Dak just a little bit, a little high right there, but the concentration by CeeDee Lamb to catch that.
Coverage staying on top of CeeDee Lamb. He does a little stutter and go right around 6 yards. But you don't put him.
Is at the line of scrimmage. He's able to get off and work. This safety's going to have to try to come over to try to be able to create a tight window there. He's a little bit late.
See, for Washington all year, mistakes like that pre-snap, creating an opportunity to push the ball down the field, what felt like a critical
move I was talking about, but check out the point of attack. It's tough when you're falling away from the ball instead of anchoring yourself and then jumping straight up like a vertical. But great job.
Yeah, and right back to it. Brian Schottenheimer staying aggressive, 4th and 2 right here.
Season with Dallas.
Yeah, this is football 101. Off coverage, quick out, quick game. Quarterback's going to hit you.
Thought he had an opportunity on the outside on the quick out. Didn't like it. Comes back to the right-hand side. And I don't know. Right here, we're going to put the post over the top with Keenan Allen. And then it's just going to be an out and up. It's like you draw it in your front yard when you're playing after Christmas. You let Keenan get those guys kind of squeezed in the line of scrimmage. A big play over the top for the touchdown, and nobody throws a better deep ball. He even told us that's his best asset is the accuracy. Get out of bounds to stop the clock. Keep your 2 timeouts. Good route there with all that speed. Keeping his head down. Comes in here. And then you get the one-on-one comeback to the outside with Johnson using that speed. Difference a week makes. Came out kind of funny right there, but so Petrie. The outside move on Petrie crosses him over. But these are the kind of mistakes